The Warriors are ready to make another move. They finally have legitimate interest for Jonathan Kuminga, which is their best trading piece this summer. Jonathan Kuminga is looking for an expanded and consistent role moving forward, which is honestly something he has not been given playing with the Warriors. He had a couple of good seasons, but clearly bringing in Jimmy Butler to the team, Jonathan Kuminga won't be their starting forward for the future, which is why he's unhappy in Golden State. I understand that. But a huge blessing in disguise for the Warriors is they can sign and trade him to still get good assets in return instead of losing him for nothing, as he's a restricted free agent. The Warriors got a huge upset in the second round of the playoffs because of course they lost to the Timberwolves and Steph didn't play. The Warriors now believe that if Steph was playing and they were fully healthy, they could have been a true contender. And that's why the Warriors are not giving up and they're not rebuilding anytime soon, because they're gonna try to win a chip as long as Steph is on the squad. And that's why it's crucial they trade away Jonathan Kuminga now, because this is the best time they can get good value for him. The Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat are two teams to monitor as potential sign and trade candidates for Kuminga. Do you remember when the Warriors won the championship in 2022? It was because they had an awesome roster that was the best Steph we've ever seen. The team had tremendous depth. But I have to give a lot of credit to Jordan Poole on being a big factor on why the Warriors won. The Warriors had another guard who can score the ball, who can play make, who can handle the rock when Steph was on the bench. And right now, that's one of the biggest flaws on the Warriors' current roster. Besides Steph, they don't really have someone that can really score on their own. Some can argue Brandon Popzinski is awesome, but I don't think he's there yet. And with Jonathan Kuminga being linked to the Bulls, Coby White is the main target that I'm keeping an eye on here to fill in that void that Jordan Poole left when he got traded, to being a scoring punch when needed and a reliable guard when Steph is out. These were Coby's numbers last season with the Bulls: 20.4 points, 3.7 rebounds, 4.5 assists, making 2.9 threes a game, shooting a career high of 45% from the field goal. Steph would love to play with someone like Coby White, who's also a great player to have in the locker room, a great teammate, and Coby would actually love this situation for himself as he actually gets a chance to be competitive. If the Warriors and Bulls negotiate a deal, it's definitely Coby White that the Warriors would want as #1 priority. But a trade with the Bulls revolving Jonathan Kuminga could also land them another star from the Bulls, Nikola Vucevic. In that Timberwolves series where the Warriors did end up losing, a big weakness we saw from the Warriors is their lack of big men depth. Their only big was basically Kevon Looney and Trayce Jackson, and they're not that good anymore. Bringing in Nikola Vucevic would elevate that part of their roster. He's of course at the end of his prime, but still be better than the bigs the Warriors own right now, and also give Draymond Green a chance to really play power forward. Coby White and Nikola Vucevic in exchange for Jonathan Kuminga on a sign and trade, Moses Moody, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and Key Santos. I love this deal because they still keep Buddy Hield, who could be their 6-man shooting guard. Brett Seigel says it like this: Bulls will very likely bring back Josh Giddey on a new contract. Coby White's future is up in the air. Chicago wants versatile players who can wear multiple hats. And that's why the Bulls would be more open on trading Coby, especially if they can bring back Josh Giddey. Jonathan Kuminga would flourish in Chicago. They could build around him. And then Steph Curry would be happy with Coby White going for another chance at a chip. There's another big in the league that the Warriors are keeping an eye on though, and Steph would really love to play with this guy. Big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring the channel. Easy Buckets family, if you want to go to a basketball game this year or any other sports events or concert, get your cheap tickets on SeatGeek because they are the best ticket app on the market with over 70,000+ events. Make sure on checkout you're using my discount promo code EasyBuckets with an S at the end to get an extra $20 off your purchase. Your cheap tickets that were originally cheap and good priced just got even cheaper with my code. Thank you SeatGeek for sponsoring the channel. John Collins would flourish in the Bay Area, playing with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. The Jazz plan to explore trade scenarios for John Collins once he opts into his $26.5 million expiring contract. So John Collins is going to be in the chopping block for the Utah Jazz. The Jazz want to give the keys to the offense to Walker Kessler, and they just brought back Lauri Markkanen, so John Collins is kind of the odd man out in that rotation. But regardless of the Jazz's future, John Collins is a solid big. Look at his numbers last season: 19 points a game, 8.2 rebounds, shooting nearly 40% from the 3-point line, shooting 62.8% true shooting, and look at his corner 3 points percentage, 43.9. John Collins has the ability to stretch the floor, and he would easily fit in the Golden State Warriors drive and kick rotational gameplay system. He's an under the radar big in the league, still in his prime, that brings a lot of athleticism, floor spacing for the Dubs, and efficiency that will elevate their offense for sure. John Collins, Svi Mikhailuk in exchange for Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga on a sign and trade. The Warriors get a big to upfront their front court, while the Jazz get a starting small forward, which is the position they've been lacking for a while now. This trade really bodes well for Jonathan Kuminga as an individual, who of course I believe has a lot of potential to really be a top scorer in the league. The Jazz can use his versatility offensively to drive to the basket, to let his game play free, and then of course have players like Larry Markkinen on the spacing, Colin Sexton, and even of course Isaiah Collier to make plays for Jonathan Kuminga. I really like this deal for Jonathan Kuminga's future, and tell me if you agree with me, but I can really see Jonathan blossoming there. But we also know that the Miami Heat are interested in Jonathan Kuminga. But let's be honest, the only player the Warriors would really want from Miami is Bam Adebayo. And if the Heat don't want to give a Bam Adebayo, then I don't even think the Warriors should engage. Bam Adebayo's playing style would really fit the Warriors system. He's a great floor spacer, playmaker, and can also play in the interior. Bam is the perfect scenario for the Warriors, and if the Heat are going to trade Bam, they're going to really need to offer something big. Bam Adebayo in exchange for Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Brandon Popzimski. This is the only scenario that I would see the Heat trade away Bam. But the Warriors could demand Kel'el Ware, their rookie. And of course, I believe that could be impactful if the Heat say yes. Kel'el Ware and Duncan Robinson in exchange for Jonathan Kuminga and Chris Santos. This would also not be a bad idea, as the Warriors get a big that they can develop for the future in Kel'el. With that being said, the Warriors have to make something happen this summer to keep Steph happy, because their championship window is slowly closing in the next couple of years. So revolving Jonathan Kuminga, I want to know your thoughts. What is the best scenario for the Warriors to trade away Jonathan Kuminga, because it's almost certain that he will not be wearing a Warriors jersey next season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's get a chat going. But Russell Westbrook just opted out of his player option with the Denver Nuggets, which means he could be playing on a new team soon. And we just made a video talking about all the best scenarios for Russell Westbrook and the main team targeting him. Check it out. But other than that, take it easy. God bless. See y'all next time on Easy Buckets. Peace.